this lesson, we're going to learn a very important switching concept. It's called a virtual LAN, a VLAN that can be created on our switch. You see, by default, all of the ports on my switch, they all belong to the same subnet. In other words, they all belong to the same broadcast domain. And this switch doesn't have all that many ports, but some switches do. Some switches have lots of ports. We might have a chassis with lots of Ethernet modules in that chassis, and we might want to divide things up a little bit. We might want to have different ports live in different subnets. Well, we can think of a VLAN, a virtual LAN, as being analogous to a subnet. Each VLAN is its own broadcast domain. Devices in a VLAN are going to be in one address space, and devices in another VLAN, they're going to be in another address space. How do we get, by the way, how do we get traffic from one VLAN to another VLAN? Well, we have to route that traffic. That's a layer 3 concept. So even though I've just got this one switch right here, if I connected a server to one port and a PC to another port, it's possible that if they belong to different VLANs, those two devices cannot talk to one another even though they're connected to the same box. And in order for them to talk to one another, routing would have to occur. Now, a 3750 happens to be a multi-layer switch. We can configure this switch to do routing, but if this were just a plain layer 2 only switch, we would have to attach externally to a router, and we would have to have traffic going from one of the devices up to the router to be routed to the other VLAN and then come back down to the switch and then go out to the other device. And as you might guess, VLANs can also help us out with security. If I'm running a packet sniffer, I might see broadcast, multicast, or unknown unicast frames from other devices on my subnet, on my VLAN. But if a device is in another VLAN, I'm not going to see that information. Let's get started with this discussion by considering the basic theory of VLANs.